Hi guys, Blake here with Lilley's Landing Resort and Marina on beautiful Upper Lake Taneycomo. It is Wednesday let's check, Wednesday the 22nd of July 2020, and this is the one cast. Oh my, okay, there we go. Today I've boated up here. I'm just below Dino's dock, spot locked for the moment. Today I'm gonna try drifting a couple different things. I've got a double scud rig here to start off with. That's on a 1/4 ounce weight with a snap swivel holding it, barrel swivel to stop it, about 6 foot a leader. Then I've got a size 12 gray scud up top and a size 14 olive scud on the bottom. And I heard a report from Phil the other day that someone told him that they were catching them from Fall Creek to Short Creek, or down to Trout Hollow rather, during the middle of the day, dragging scuds. So it's the middle of the day right now, about 3 o'clock, and I decided that's what I'm gonna try too. So gonna get the boat drifting here. There we go. I'm actually off work today, so I have not been down at the dock to hear reports of who's catching what this morning. So I don't have many fishing reports in line of that. I can say that I took two friends last night out night fishing up by the dam. We were throwing the Signature Series French Pearl and the rainbow trout, and in about 4 hours we wound up catching a 20 1/4, a 20 1/2, and a 20 3/4 inch rainbow, or rainbows. So 3 over 20 last night, and a bunch of other fish. We looked at the radar before we left and it didn't show anything, and we were out there at about 10:30 and it just started pouring on us. But when it started pouring, the fish started biting even better, so we just stuck around and dealt with being a little wet and cold. But it was a lot of fun. Oh, there's a fish. We're gonna call that on the first cast. It feels like a decent fish. I'm kind of curious. I haven't used an olive scud in a long time. I always stick with the gray or the tan out here, and I'm just kind of curious if he took that olive scud. And I'm gonna be real honest, this feels like a pretty decent fish. Might even be a brown, the way he's sticking to the bottom here, or it could be the elusive sucker fish. Oh my, there we go. Nope, just a healthy rainbow. Yeah. And he was getting that all tangled up. He took the gray scud. Yeah, buddy. Come on. Come on. All right. There we are. Fish on the one cast today. Put him back down in there. And that didn't take too awful long, so it's maybe the scud today, even in the middle of the day, will be working pretty well. So when you're fishing scuds out here, what I like to do, I like to fish double rigs. Not that you have to. You certainly do not have to fish double scud rigs to catch fish out here. That's just the way I like to do it. But I like to take, and I like to put usually a bigger size for my first fly on up the line, and then I like to put like one size smaller on the end of the line. I think that the bigger scud kind of gets their attention from farther away, and that the little scud usually is what they go for. In this instance, he went for the bigger gray size 12 scud, but a lot of the time when I'm doing this, they usually bite the smaller one. I think it looks maybe a touch more realistic in size, but having two of them down there I think sometimes gets their attention a little better. And then I also like to change the colors around, put, you know, two different sizes, two different colors, and kind of try to zone in on what's working the best. Every once in a while I got to let the line out, keep the bottom bounce going, or lift up, or not lift up, but or slow the trolling motor down. I know that night crawlers have still been working pretty well, and that the pink power worm, dragging it or putting it a good distance underneath a float has been hot. Both of those have been good methods. The morning bite tends to be the best bite unless you're fishing at nighttime. I didn't even realize, but I did not shut the motor off. There we go. Oh, there's a fish. Oh, I missed him. And so, middle of the day, I'm kind of drifting out here. There's a seam line that goes from this shallow flat over here to the middle, where it drops off, and that's kind of where I'm holding my line right now, trying to keep my bait right in that area where it starts to drop off. They are running 4 units again today, kind of still holding to the same pattern they have for almost a month now. There's a fish. Oh, I missed him. Wow, they are biting this. This is the most action I've had in the middle of the day in a while. The idea behind that 6 foot a leader, I think it helps get the flies just a little bit off the bottom whenever the water's running really fast. Usually the slower the water, the shorter I make the leader, but 4 units, so I've got it, you know, set it 6 foot, maybe even a little bit longer. Give those flies a little bit of room to come up and wave behind the weight while it's dragging. And I've got that 1/4 ounce I was talking about. That seems to be just about the perfect weight here. I am having to, in certain spots, kind of either let out some line or slow the boat down, but for the most part I'm getting a pretty good bounce across the bottom, which is really important. There's a fish. Getting the weight to bounce kind of like this across the bottom is essential to getting the right getting the bait in the right place for the fish, because if it's dragging too hard, that means they're just pulling across the bottom really fast. And this little guy also took the size 12 gray, so let's say that gray is getting their attention a little bit better today. There's a look at him before he throws the hook. There we go. And I'm not picking up. Well, there's a little bit of moss on my bottom fly there. I was getting ready to say I haven't picked up moss really. Just a touch here on the olive fly. When I cast that out, I lift up on my line before I close the bail. Give it a little extra line. That allows it to get to the bottom a little bit quicker. It's a little hot outside today. There's another fish. Oh, nope, that's not a fish. I think I just lost that setup. A little bit hotter outside today. However, the clouds have just moved over. Kind of looks like might have a chance for storms, which is probably helping the bite out a little bit, honestly, with the sun not being directly over the top of the water. Alright, so on this one I've got a tan size 12 scud on top and a size 14 gray on the bottom. 1/4 ounce weight, same rig, same length of leader. Occasionally, I like to lift up on my rod tip real slowly, pull it back this way, and then let it drift back down to the bottom again. Sometimes that gives the scuds a little extra, I don't know, up and down action, I would say. And a lot of the time when I do it, as I'm letting it back down, I'll feel a bite. So just something you can play with, and that doesn't have to be just something you do with scuds. You can do that dragging any other fly too. Just kind of gives it that little extra action. There's a wind that's picked up since I've been out here that wasn't here when I first got here. It's kind of blowing back up towards the dam, kind of slowing the boat down a little bit. Which hasn't affected my drift yet, so I'm still got a good bounce going. But if the wind were to blow any harder, I'd either want to adjust my weight and make it smaller, or point point the nose of the boat downstream and use the trolling motor to keep the drift going fast enough. There's a fish. This feels like a little guy. Oh, he came off. Darn it. Let's see if he took the scud or if he just popped off the hook there. I think he just popped off the hook. Okay. Go just a little bit farther here, maybe down to Trout Hollow. Honestly, with the cloud cover right now and that wind blowing, it is not too bad out here. I haven't been doing a whole lot of daytime fishing, just primarily because it's really hot. But this is pretty nice right now with the cloud cover. Ah, darn it, I found another snag. And that one broke. Okay, so I got one rod left, except on this one, I rigged up a 639 Signature Series Ghost Shad. That's about 3 foot a leader. And I got the 1/8 ounce weight in the barrel and the snap swivel to stop it. I wasn't planning on running out of scud rigs here, but since we did, we're gonna try this one. This, with 4 units of water running, the drift on this little bait especially could be good all the way past our dock and still get good action on it. But I've had a lot of luck drifting from Trout Hollow Lodge, except across from Trout Hollow Lodge, all the way back down to our dock. Now I don't have time to do that drift today, but I've had luck here doing that. So we'll drift for just a little bit and see what happens. This one, you really, you don't need any more than that 1/8 ounce weight. The jerk bait does the rest of the work, driving to the bottom. I think I'm going to scoot the boat just a little closer to the seam line over here. Got lots of jet skiers out on the water today. myself a little closer over here. And when I drift this line from, you know, across from Trout Hollow Lodge down to our dock, I try to attempt to keep my boat out in the main current, right on the edge of the main current, and then drift the bait either on the inside of this eddy or right in the seam line between the two. And that's where I tend to have the most bites and pick up the most fish. But I like keeping my boat out in the main current, that way the bait still drags at a good speed, but it's in an area where the fish are held up at. If you get your boat too far over in the eddy, the boat goes as slow as that water, and then the jerk bait just doesn't get a whole lot of action. I want to scoot just a little bit closer. For just a couple more minutes and then call it a day. I've got my boat just right on the outside of the seam and drifting on down. Lots of people having fun out here today. Hi, how's it going? I'm catching a couple. Awesome. But the wind has picked up a whole lot. Actually stopping my boat and causing my bait to swing out this way. So if that's something that ever happens to you, you need to either pick a different spot of the lake where the wind's not blowing that hard, or point your trolling motor downstream and drag the bait. Which is what I'm going to attempt to do now. I'd say the wind's picked up to, oh, that feels like 15 or 20 mile an hour gusts here. So I'd say we're probably about to get some kind of rain. And so now I've got my nose pointed downstream, and I am just kind of off and on hitting the pedal. Keep myself drifting at the speed of the current here. But it certainly looked like between the fish that I had on and caught and the number of bites that I had in that short period of time, that drifting scuds from Fall Creek to Short Creek during the middle of the day, looks like that could be a pretty good method. You know, I think I'm going to go ahead and give up on this trolling it's a lot harder than just drifting with it. And we thank you guys for watching today. Like and share us on Facebook, and there we go. And we'll do it again for you tomorrow. Thank you guys.